like fat guys. No, I like fat guys.
No, but I mean, like...
I like them a lot.
Like...
Okay.
Right, but I guess...
I'm very excited because I have two awesome women in Pittsburgh who are artists and writers.
Addie Twig from the Added Up podcast and MJ Doe she's an artist and a writer, would you say?
Both of these women have spent a considerable amount of time thinking about feminism and or weight.
So, welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
I think it's great to be here.
I'm very impressed with all our styles. I think that
deep at half of the body image movement or the fat activist movement is that I feel like there's an absence of saying, hey, I have my own standards. I have my own considerations for what I want in a partner. If most people or if some people don't find me attractive, that's their deal. I have my own idea of what is attractive and what isn't. And I don't see that agency in terms of, I guess, women in that movement.
Yeah, like, I'm a rabid feminist. I will talk about it for days. But there's just a certain kind of dude that I'm not into. And there's a certain kind of girl that I don't like hanging out with. And that's not that there's anything wrong with them. Yeah, that one.
I wish fat and feminism would get a divorce. And it seems like they're not able to.
I don't think they can.
I think that maybe.
Well, no, because they bought that house together, and now both their names are on it.
Right.
It's so messy, and then there's the prenup. I don't even want to get into it.
I mean, feminism has all of this money.
Because why can't it though? Like, why? Why can't they be divorced?
Because there are fat men on TV, and that's okay.
Exactly.
And they date like
exactly.
you know, Lisa Rinna or whoever,
and no one says
shit about it.
Here's a world that I imagine. I imagine that fat is not associated with any kind of moral good or bad, and fat is something that affects men and women equally.
The reason that this sort of fat lens, you know, the reason that it happens in the feminist community as opposed to a wider community, like why are we having this conversation about fat issues and fat acceptance in the feminist world, as you could say, is because the reason women have issues with their weight is because of a sort of patriarchal social programming. It's because we have this sort of male gaze oriented view of the world through the media.
What if it's women, though, that prefer to be thin? Why do we think it's men?
There's many lesbians that want thin girlfriends.
Right, but that's because of the same reasons that men would want thin girlfriends. We're all programmed to think that way.
We keep saying we're programmed. Who are we programmed by?
I mean, we're all programmed by sort of the all-seeing eye of the media and the internet and the newspapers and the TV and, like, you know, especially like, you know, I'm not that much younger than you guys. I'm like 9 years younger than you. But, you know, the internet. Yeah. It is an all-encompassing presence.
I did all this work about, like, you know, body image when I was younger or whatever. Now I'm a teacher, and I teach, like, media studies, and I feel like I'm getting my comeuppance by having to read paper after paper after paper about
body
like,
image.
Body image and how we're, like, being, you know, women.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, if the media is making us anorexic, why are we getting fatter?
I'm sorry, like...
Well, there you're dealing with issues of class, of money, and of, you know, again, advertising.
Right.
And also changing tastes.
And it's not just that the media is making us anorexic. The media is making us think that we should be anorexic. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like the media, regardless of what actually happens to us, the message that we're getting is get skinnier, get skinnier, get skinnier. And how that affects you is either you become anorexic or maybe you get fatter because you're so depressed that you can't be what the media says you should.
I mean, so that's what the conundrum I have. Have I been brainwashed, or is this what I prefer?
Well, I think it's a little of both. I don't think it's as simple as one or the other.
You're right.
I think it's complex.
What do we want? What do I want? Does
I
that
totally
matter?
think that's a
You know what
factor.
I'm saying?
I completely agree.
I mean,
I just think we're
I think that what people get out of losing weight isn't even necessarily that they're skinnier. It's the sort of agency that, look, I did this thing. I did this for myself. I did this for my health. If you did it the right way, if you're not embodying these disordered eating principles, if you're
crazy
eating well,
diet,
like if you're eating well and you're exercising and, you know, you're doing things that are good for you, I think that you probably feel better because you did this for yourself.
Okay. But if you ever had the feeling to be thinner, do you feel like that's not a positive feeling in some way? Or there's something wrong with that?
I think it's a delicate line.
Yeah.
I think it's...
And this goes back to your issue of, like, do you want this because you want this, or do you want this because you're socially programmed to want this? And, yeah, that's... I think every single person has a different approach to that.
Okay.
And again, everything comes down to personal agency.
Okay.